Hey, what's happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? And thank you for tuning into Rules for Rebels. Today we're talking Amazon merch. I wanted to give you guys kind of an overview of a Chrome browser extension called Pretty Merch. It's kind of an analytic extension. What it does, this browser extension, after you download it, it's going to add an additional tab to your Amazon merch dashboard. As you can see up here by my cursor, it says Pretty Merch. Before downloading it, you had your traditional dashboard, create, manage, and analyze. It just adds this new tab here, and it displays your sales data, sales numbers, etc., in a little bit more of a visually appealing fashion. Now, this is one of the more popular Amazon merch plugins out there. And I'll be honest, I've been very, very hesitant to use this. I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably already using it just because it is one of the most popular things out there. Years ago, I used some type of plugin or extension. I think it was called Merch Whale or something like that. And it was something similar. It was a plugin. It would notify me with a cha-ching when one of my shirts sold, whether I was logged in or not. And it would give me some kind of more graphs and things like that. I actually think Pretty Merch is kind of an improvement on that. But I'm always kind of hesitant to use extensions. And I'll tell you why. Ever since I got involved in cryptocurrency years ago, when you're doing crypto, you need to be very aware of what you're downloading on your computer, what you're giving things access to. You really want to kind of protect your computer and hence your cryptocurrency. And extensions, you're essentially installing foreign code on your computer, and that can share things with whoever created it. It can report data back. Somebody could do malicious things after you give them access to your computer through an extension. So that's why I've been hesitant to use it. What kind of made me decide to give it a try, I was watching Merch Minds with Glenn from Hustler Hacks and Yong from Geek Hustle last night, and they had Harrison, the creator of Pretty Merch, on. Did an interview, seemed like a swell fellow, and seemed like a nice guy. And it was kind of funny. Yong actually brought up to him, he said, and he was kind of making fun of people like me. He said, a lot of these people that they don't want to use Pretty Merch because they say, oh, it's going to report sales data back to him and he's going to steal my best-selling shirts. And that's actually, maybe it's being a little bit paranoid, but I mean, that's a legitimate fear. That's something that could actually happen. When you download an extension, you are potentially giving, if you don't know what's in the code, you are potentially handing data over to somebody else. So that was kind of a fear of mine. Harrison kind of addressed that. He said, look, he said, if I wanted to find top-selling Amazon designs, I just go look on Amazon. I don't really need to look in your account. He said, but also, he said, Pretty Merch is a business to me. It sounds like he's more of a developer than he is a designer. He said, Pretty Merch is a business to me. If it came out that I was doing that, it would ruin my business. And then also another thing too, like, this is a little bit over my head, but to somebody who's a little bit more savvy at reading code, they could look into the code of Pretty Merch and they could tell if it's reporting sales data back to him. But Harrison said, we don't have any servers, nothing's reported back to us, everything's stored on your local machine. If you delete Pretty Merch, essentially there's no record that it was ever there, and even when it is there, it's not reporting back. So anyhow, that kind of instilled a little bit of confidence in me. I saw it had a lot of good downloads and things like that, a lot of users, so I was like, what the heck, let's give it a try. Downloaded it, and kind of here's what it looks like. So traditionally, you have the dashboard, you have the create, the manage, and analyze. Pretty Merch adds this tab. I should add there's a free version of Pretty Merch, and then there's also a paid version of Pretty Merch that's $9.95. I have the free version. If I'm going to pay for something, I would like it to kind of improve my productivity or help me make more money. And, things like Merch Buddy or Merch Lister Pro, some of these things, those are actually going to speed up the upload process. Well, this is incredibly cool. I don't necessarily know if it's going to improve my sales because it's not really a performance booster. It's just kind of showing me data in a different way. But it is kind of neat in the sense that, if I want to know what color shirts are selling, whether it's premium shirts or standard shirts, men's shirts or women's shirts, the sizes, I have to go analyze, pull a report, really kind of dig into the data, and here everything's just kind of presented for me very nicely. So right here at the top, I'm tier 3000. I have 3 shirts under review. I forget what UMR and PS is. I have 1 rejection. I have 2,001 of my 3,000 designs live, 5 total sales for the day, no returns, $20 in royalties. Here we got kind of a bar graph where we can kind of see sales trends over the past week. Monday, 9/10, this is actually earlier in the day, so I actually did have a few sales follow up later. You're looking at a screenshot, not live here. Down here we have sales from yesterday, returns, cancellations, past 7 days sales, commissions, total shirts sold, returns and cancellations this month, previous month. I think this is one of the coolest areas. So right here, I blocked out the shirts that sold, but you can see we have, here was a men's black shirt that sold. Here was a women's heather blue shirt that sold. And again, you're looking at a screenshot, not the live view. But one cool thing about the live view is if you don't know what some symbol or abbreviation is, if you hover over it, it'll tell you. But I remember that this one's heather blue. For this shirt, I sold 1 women's, 2 kids, and they were all black. And one kind of interesting thing about this, I think ultimately a lot of people's goal is to maybe eventually start ordering blank shirts, getting them screen printed themselves, and instead of paying a base price of $15 per shirt, you might be able to get blanks for $2, maybe $4 for like a nicer Bella Plus Canva, maybe another $1 or $2 to print, and instead of a base price of $15, you're in at a base price of anywhere from maybe $3 to $7, and it leaves a lot more room for profit. Now, I understand people are like, well, my shirt's in 5 different colors, and then you got small, medium, large, extra large, double XL. Like, just to order one shirt in 5 colors and 5 sizes, like, I'm going to have to order 30 shirts for every design just to keep one in stock. Well, what's kind of cool about this is you can kind of start to see trends of what sells. And I mean, one thing that I noticed is like 90% of the shirts that I sell are black. Probably 5%, or, I would say probably 80% of the shirts I sell are black. 10 to 15% of the shirts I sell are either heather blue or dark heather. And then you might have some pinks and greens and some shirts like that kind of making up the rest. This is what the traditional merch dashboard looks like. So again, when we toggle over from pretty merch, here's just kind of the plain boring merch dashboard. Doesn't give you nearly as much info as pretty merch. If we go back over here, you guys all kind of already saw this screenshot. This is just a little bit of a closer view. Here is, here's the top unit sold. And I forget what period this is. I think this is, for the past 30 days. So one of my designs has sold 99 designs, $516 in commissions. Another one sold 11, another one 10, another one 6. So the vast majority of my designs are coming from, or the vast majority of my sales are coming from a handful of shirts. And then the rest are just, I might have a couple hundred shirts that are each selling, 1 a month or whatever it is. But see here, it's kind of interesting. So 99 sales, 54 men's, 45 women, 74 black, 15 heather, 5 of that kind of army green, 3 red, and 2 green. This one sold 11. Here we actually had heather blue sold 4, heather blue sold 7, dark heather sold 4, 4 men's, 7 women's. And so why this is kind of important is when you start looking at this, you can kind of see if a shirt is more popular with men or whether a shirt is more popular with women. And if if you're doing a shirt about, cactuses or something, and you see a lot of women buy it, well, I might start making more cactus shirts. And then also you may want to take into consideration what colors you're making. So blacks and heathers tend to sell well, but for the additional colors, maybe rather than green, maybe you start doing a pink or a purple if you know that the shirt appeals to women. Whereas this shirt has sold, 10 designs, all to men, 9 of them were black. But just kind of gives you a little bit of a different visual look. And then here we see top royalties, pretty similar to this last one. And you kind of see the breakdown of everything that's sold. So yeah, that's basically pretty merch for you guys. If you're like me and you've been hesitant to download it, I kind of put my guard down a little bit. The guy who created it seemed like a decent guy. I'm sure somebody out there, I guess I'm kind of trusting that somebody out there has examined the code and there's nothing malicious in it. Like I said, I probably won't be signing up for the paid version just because I'm not a super analytical guy and I don't necessarily, even if I had access to more data, I don't necessarily think that I would dig into it. But just, this is kind of cool. It presents my data to me in a little bit of a different fashion. I can kind of quickly and easily seeing what my top selling shirts are. And I can kind of get an idea of whether I want to, offer them or kind of cater future designs to men, women, what colors, etc. So that's pretty merch for you. If you guys have used this, let me know your thoughts on it. Drop a comment in the comment section below. And if there's any other kind of Chrome extensions or anything like that that you guys find helpful or that you find interesting or that you've been wanting to check out but haven't had a chance to look at, drop a comment, let me know. Maybe I'll try to check it out. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.